Peace to you and yours, Brother Blue, Port live and direct. Make sure that you're in the building December 16th at the Alhambra Ballroom. All roads lead to Harlem for our Brother Panic, B.O.B., Dr. Reverend Dr. Phil Valentine, our brother A.A. Rashid, Sister Nalani, okay? And, of course, Khadija Samani. Rounding it out, this is going to be a powerful lecture dealing with God frequency. So make sure that you're on a frequency and a right vibration. Okay, vibrate your ass to Harlem, December 16th. See you in the building. Peace.
Peace, family. We in St. Francis College. About to wrap up this event with King Simon out here with Blue Pill.
Peace, family. Peace to you and yours.
Listen, man, how was your day so far, my brother? You out here with the products, doing your thing, sipping tea?
Yes, indeed. What's the name of the? Yes, I'm sipping on the Miss Delaby Herbal Remedy tea. Amazing tea. You know what I'm saying? So we're here. It's been an amazing day thus far. We debuted the long-awaited Twin the Movie Episode 1. You know, we got to see our good brother Kambada tear the stage down. And I got to see Runoko Rashidi. This is the first full lecture that I've been able to sit on, viewing our brother Runoko and seeing the indelible proof that this man has uncovered about the melanated presence globally. You know what I'm saying? So it's been an amazing experience, seeing so many familiar faces in the building, getting so much love from the elders. You know what I mean? So, and the babies and everybody in between. So it's been elevated.
Listen, we
healthy, as our brother
Loaded Lux. Healthy.
Shout out to
healthy. Shout out to Lux. Listen, I was talking to you briefly on the phone. I seen an interview, a segment of an interview. Jada Pinkett. I guess Jada Pinkett has a podcast, and her mom's is there.
Yes.
And her daughter, Willow Smith. Am I correct?
Yes,
all
Willow.
three of them?
Yeah, Willow's there.
And that's beautiful to see three generations of black women.
Yes.
That's absolutely beautiful. So shout out to all of them with their podcast and putting that genius idea
Red
together.
Table, I believe it's called.
That's what it's called? Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to them.
But now, so what's the lady's name that was saying?
Elliot.
Jane Elliot. This is the woman I keep hearing about, who's saying that only one race exists.
Yes.
The human race.
Yes.
She's a light-skinned African.
Light-skinned African.
And her people migrated from Africa away from the equator, and that's why her complexion is the way it is.
That's what she's claiming.
So, based on your you've studied for years. You've been under the greats, Dr. Valentine, Runoko Rashidi, Ivan Van Sertima, Bobby Hemmett, esoteric historians, Moorish. You done been under them all. What do you think about, what do you make of her statement, my brother? How accurate is it?
There's nothing in the historical record that pretty much complements that claim that she's making.
Doesn't Chengong Diop compliment that? His Cheng Diop.
Does he have an out of Africa theory?
He has.
That's what he promotes.
Is it a climate adaptability? Would that be the same? The climate adaptability, is that
I think that science has shown that based on them testing certain aspects of different varying species that have popped up on the planet, that's not necessarily something that we can ascribe to, because what she's saying, if we were to accept that argument, is that the Neanderthals were our relatives, and that the Neanderthals came out of Africa, you understand? And they have contributed to the historical record of the quote-unquote human race that she's talking about. We're talking about two different people.
So you're subscribing, would I be correct in saying you're subscribing to the Elijah Muhammad?
No, I didn't say anything about Yaku. I said science says that 99.9% of the people on the planet share this particular same similarity, but the European has no genetic trace back to Africa. You understand? The European has Neanderthal in them where no one else has.
That's what science says.
That's what science says.
So when we talk about the Neanderthal, how much has this Neanderthal mixed with the rest of the melanated species? when we look at the rest of the melanated population, when we look at India, when we look at Asia, I mean, is this, do I have Neanderthal in me? Do you, like?
I can't quite just stand here and look at you.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I mean, just general,
whether you have Neanderthal
the African American, what we call species.
Later on, you know, as we test our genome and our DNA, we know that we are a result of somewhat of a rape culture or miscegenation along, you know, our paths and our journeys. So if I was to take a DNA test and they say that I have X amount of percentage of European in me, you know, is that based on my origin, or is that based on something that my ancestors might have done in their travels, where at some point they came into contact with Europeans and had, you know, intercourse with them? You feel me? And then they had babies. Now, you're going to pick up certain chromosomes from that particular European's ancestors, but that doesn't necessarily make you part and parcel to that ancestry. It just might mean that you have some of that DNA in you now.
Okay.
So we are the result of a rape culture.
Okay.
You dig what I'm saying? So, yes, some of us very well may have Neanderthal in us, but I don't think that that speaks to our origin story. You dig what I'm saying?
So when they say, you know, the famous saying, we all bleed the same blood, you're not going for that. When they say, we bleed the same blood, we all the same, when you take away the skin, we all the same inside, you're not going for that.
Scientifically, that's not proven. You know, because what's contained in my blood is not necessarily contained in said European's blood. So you have O type, you got A type, you got B type, you got AB. You have a lot of different blood, so we don't bleed the same blood. You know what I'm saying? Especially if certain blood, you know, ties particular people to a rhesus monkey, then we don't have the same blood. And certain, you know, they say certain blood has extraterrestrial origin. We don't have the same blood. You feel me? So it's not accurate. You know, these are sloganisms. Sloganisms. As Tariq Nasheed would say. These are sloganisms. And we run with sloganisms. But when we put sloganisms underneath microscopes, then we see that they don't stand up to scientific proof. Or scientific scrutiny, should I say.
I mean, according to, you know, all your studying, how did our ancestors deal with the Neanderthal? Like, how did we, if we had to interact with them, how do we deal with them? Keep them locked away in a cave? Like, what was the, according to history?
There are varying stories in our historical record that say that the Neanderthal as well as the albino was banished. You feel me? And, you know, the story that I have been told, you know what I'm saying, is a story of exile. You know what I'm saying? The fact that when on a continent, if a particular, if the woman gave birth to a child and that child was albino, that child was thought to be an omen. So you were to excommunicate that child. You're supposed to kill that child, right? Because that child was looked at as a genetic impurity. You know, what happened, the love and compassion of the mother, you dig what I'm saying? She took that child and she would hide the child. She would exile the child. A lot of these stories were mimicked in the Bible when we talk about Moses and floating up the child, putting him in a basket and floating him up the river. You dig what I'm saying? So there creates then an issue where this exiled child has a uncanny, allegiance to the mother, and father issues with that very father who they looked at as the one responsible for trying to kill them. So even if you update our relationships today and you look at how the European always cuddles and caters to the melanated woman, right, as a mammy, what person will allow a person who gives birth to a beast to nurse and wet and feed their child, knowing they know scientifically that the colostrum fluid, the breast milk, is responsible for forming the entire intelligence of the child. So if they're telling you that these people are genetically inferior, why would you let that mother put her breast milk in the rearing process of the child? No, the issue is they got daddy issues with us. You dig what I'm saying? With us. Based on the genetic memory that was implanted in them, because we were the one that always called for their death because they were genetic mutations.
So they lashing out?
What you think?
Wow. Wow.
That's why it said, you know, and I heard an interview recently with Cynthia G. She was on Sinetta's platform the other day. It was a very good interview just to get that particular insight from, you know, how a woman kind of sees these things that might be on the front line that has a little bit more interaction with a European man than we do. And she said that she thinks that European men are more afraid of quote-unquote black women than black men. You know what I'm saying? They know something about her that we probably don't. So we think that their inferiority or their hatred or their fear of us comes from, you know, our strength or our ability to overpower them or outdo them or genetically annihilate them. You know what I'm saying? But that's not necessarily the truth. They know that they come from her, and you know, in so many ways. So that's a prevailing narrative. Then there's a whole nother narrative that deals with the Neanderthal origins that also deal with some level of genetic mutation. And these are people that have fallen out of the whole genetic code and they're mutants or X, Y, and Z. And, you know, you got to weigh both of these particular scenarios or stories and see which one makes the best sense to you. You know what I mean? But I don't think at no point will we ever allow to miscegenate with people that were considered genetically mutated, whether that be Neanderthal or albino. You feel me?
So books like Iceman Inherited by, I think his name is Michael Bradley. Does anybody know? Is that his name? Michael Bradley? Yeah.
I like to deal with Michael.
Who say our ancestors went up to the Caucasus Mountains, got trapped up there, and that's how they lost their melanin. Do you see any, is that another Jane Elliot? Is he trying to do the light-skinned African thing again? Is that the
I mean,
you see any truth to that?
What happened in Alaska?
Bobby Hemmett said that.
You know what I'm saying?
Bobby Hemmett said that.
What happened in other regions, regions where you find inclement weather, where people are still retain a level of melanin.
Bobby Hemmett said that.
You feel me? There's melanin. There's darker people in Siberia in these regions. You know what I'm saying? Who have Asiatic features.
Right.
You know, I have heard a lot of different things said, you know, about why people lose pigment and the processes that they go through. But like I said, once you put it under the microscope, it doesn't stand up to scientific scrutiny. So these are theories at best, you know what I mean? But I don't really know how true they are.
You know, it makes me, you want to add in, real quick, Bob, because I want to end it with Blue Pill for, yeah.
I just want to say something about Michael Bradley. When I first read his book, I was like, you know, he comes up, he presents a good argument, but when I really scrutinized the book, it made me realize it just boiled right on down to an excuse on trying to justify how messed up Europeans and white people actually are. And all the book told me is just boils down to a damn excuse of why you do the things that you do. And so, you know, coming from a European, and given the history, I was taught and told why we can't really trust anything coming from the mouth of somebody like that. It's got to be something behind it. Even if you're telling the truth, it's got to be some selfish advantage that you got, that you seem to be getting from the book, and that advantage, it just boils down to an excuse.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. So herein lies the issue with that claim. You know what I'm saying? If in fact, Simon, after this? All right. No, we still doing the So, you know, herein lies the issue with that. If she's in fact, okay, if she is still in fact rich, if she still is what she says, which is a light-skinned black person, right?
Say her name again,
Jane Elliot.
Jane Elliot.
Does this also allow her at some point to, be allocated civil rights? You know what I'm saying? Is she afforded the right to lay claim to whatever civil rights is available? Because again, there was a story floating around. We could look at Rachel Dozier and this other gentleman, you know what I mean, who said that he was a born again, quote unquote, black, and he was able to get access to grants.
Even how whites said they were Native Americans and they took advantage of those benefits.
$5 Indians.
$5 Indians, right.
You dig what I'm saying? So we're dealing with colorable law. So these codes and these statutes are so loose and so easy to be manipulated that people are coming and using terminology in order for them to gain access to monies that's on the table that our people still can't gain access to because, you feel me, they for whatever reason don't know how to play these games. So, you know what I mean? There's a danger in that particular claim being open harm accepted by, you know what I'm saying, like women amongst the flanks that really don't understand, and they're just so, this is another level of acceptance. They want to hug it out, you know what I'm saying, and kiss it out. And, oh my God, she's one of us, and you know, like just because somebody's a celebrity don't mean that they have broken the glass ceilings of knowledge where they even know who the hell they are. You dig what I'm saying? So I would be very suspect of that.
One last question before we get out of here, Blue. Farrakhan has been on the news a lot lately, the past year.
Yes, he has.
A whole lot, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yeah, shout out.
And he's being accused constantly of being an anti-Semite. So what I want to ask you, being that you came up in the Moorish community, people have seen you wear the Moorish shirts and they affiliate you, P. Moreland, Phil Moreland, Paul Moreland. Yeah, exactly. As a brother who's a part of the Moorish community, when you hear somebody that like Farrakhan say, we are the true children of Israel, how do you feel about that? That he's saying that the Jews that we see on television, the Jews that's in control and power now, took our heritage, took our legacy. So we have the Moorish legacy, we have a Jewish legacy. Talk to me about how all of this comes together, because it could be quite confusing to a lot of people.
Yes. Once again, we are speaking about, you know, terminology, not necessarily semantics, but even the word Semite or being an anti-Semite, Semite or Semitic, it's a Semitic language. It's not a people per se. You feel me? I just saw some slides that our brother Runoko Rashidi showed us where he said, look, these are the original quote-unquote Jews, and these were heavily melanated people. He
showed that? I missed that?
He did. You know what I'm saying? Shit. He went through the entire globe and showed our melanated presence in these places that we would think were European. You know, the historical record, they could show you an Australian today, and that person could say, you know, hey, mate, I'm from down under. And automatically, you're going to associate that person with being Australian if they look like Crocodile Dundee, and not even think back to the Aboriginal, you know, or Aborigine. You dig what I'm saying? So there's this prevailing argument taking place in this community right now about, you know, our presence in this country before pre-Columbian existence here in this country, and whether we're either indigenous, Aboriginal, or X, Y, and Z. And I think that, you know, we get real twisted when we try to harp on either one origin point or one level of existence, and we don't look at the totality of our story. Some people were here, some people got brought here. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand why that's so hard to understand. You dig what I'm saying? So this whole aspect of there being like only Jews that are Ashkenazis or only Jews that are European, no, they're Sephardic Jews. You know what I'm saying? When the Moors was in Spain, the Jews that were amongst them were olive complexion. They weren't Ashkenazis.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you have two variants of Jews altogether, and then you have something that's even more ancient than that. So I think that, yes, Farrakhan has a claim that he's standing on. I think that he needs to get a lot more forthright in the history of it so he can nail it to the cross. You know, no pun intended. But, you know, there's arguments of people while he's trying to make his claim that will come and say, well, there's no such thing as, you know, Jews never existed. or there's no such thing as ancient Hebrews, or there's no such thing as this. So it's like, you know, the conversation gets convoluted by a whole lot of noise. But at the end of the day, you know, truth is truth, and people need to bring forth their facts so they can stand on these truths. You know what I mean? And Farrakhan should spend a lot more time to divorcing their claim altogether about what a Semite actually is for him to even be an anti-Semite.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, shout out to that book, The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, Volume 1 and 2. You know, he gives a lot of history in that as well. So there's a lot that we can gain from doing the knowledge ourselves. You know what I mean? Or, you know, like I said, for the people that are being accused for actually making it their time to do a total dismissive of this entire platform altogether, you know, and nobody stands to gain more from that at this particular point in time than Farrakhan, because they lining him up on both sides. You dig what I'm saying? He gonna stand with the Iranians, they lining him up. He gonna stand, you know, with quote unquote black entertainers.
The Iranians lined him up? What happened with that?
They falsified that he was making chants about death to America. And when he went to try to go clear it up on the press TV, they cut him off.
That's crazy, man.
You know, and I seen him having like a whole, not screaming match, but, you know, he was being adversarial with some of the people that's part of their press junket. So you don't know who's CIA. You don't know who's working for what side. You don't know who's working with the Zionists. They could even say that they got beef with these people and everybody's in bed together. And you the op. You know what I'm saying? Because whose birthright have they stole? It's not the Iranians. If you're saying that they not the original Jews, then somebody, you know, somebody has pulled off birthright theft. You dig what I'm saying? And somebody has been done a terrible injustice on this planet once again. Like, we got to stop being the people underneath the rim with our back turned to it. You know what I'm saying? With people just dunking and putting their nuts on our neck every day.
Sean Kemp style?
Yeah, like that has to, we have to stop that altogether. And I could give you multiple examples of that shit. At what point are we going to push back?
Man, I appreciate your time, brother. Leave your contact info before you get out of here.
Yeah. Cash App, $ Blue Pillar 44. Okay? Blue Pillar 44 at Gmail, at Blue Pillar 44 Instagram, SoulGoBiz.com. I was getting a whole lot of testimonials today. I don't know why these people don't come out in the open and film it and just let the world know how this goal has worked wonders in their life. You dig what I'm saying? So check us out there. Apparelnormal.com.
Yo, I was about to say, yo, that's crazy right there, man. That sweatsuit right there, that's a winner. It's kind of dark in here. Y'all can't really.
Yeah, I got my Wu-Tang Killer B colors on. Shout out to the Wu for their 25th anniversary. Yeah, like, come on, like, even them.
Good Morning America.
Going on, Good Morning. Like,
you see how they did them dirty? They did them dirty.
Like, come on,
son. They did them dirty, man.
They was beeping parts of the song that don't even have no expletives in it.
Like, it
didn't even make no sense.
That was insane.
They were just violating to be violating. Like, we have to stop allowing ourselves to be violated.
We need
after
our own media.
The brother they done put in 25 years of work globally. For you to go on Good Morning America and get thugged out by snowflakes, I don't get that. So something has to be done. Like, you know what I'm saying? The fact that it's 25 years and we still don't have a consecrated hip hop media that we could call our own, where they can be, you know what I'm saying, on their 25th anniversary, receiving the applause and the praise that they deceive, building a bridge to the younger generation, which they are trying to do. You know, I seen a documentary as well, Wu-Tang Loves the Kids. That was dope. You know, but it's just the disrespect is just out of line.
It's out of control.
It's just out of control.
Damn, man.
You feel me? And I really think it's because we are always on our knees looking for acceptance from people that you're telling me is your little cousins and your little brothers. How does that look? You dig what I'm saying? So daddy's looking to get patted on the head from a child that he has disowned, who done heard all the stories about how you ain't shit. You dig what I'm saying? Every chance he get, he gonna pee on you. That's what we looking at.
Now we signing out, family. Peace.